Okay, guys, we're live on the podcast, and I want to say this. I just listened to my homeboy, the NDFX, talk about this, and I was trying to make a video about this, and to me, the video wasn't what it should have been, so I scrapped it, and now we're doing it over here on Spreaker.com, and I will say this. The CTFXC recently, or I should say Charles Trippy, came out and recently said that the CTFXC, him and his wife, Charles and ALLI, are getting separated. And there's a difference between separating and divorce. Sometimes when you're getting separated, you basically end up taking time away from seeing each other, hanging around each other, and sometimes you really do need time away from your significant other. It's crazy to think about it, and I want to say this. I don't think all the CTFXC fans realize that, because when you're dating somebody and being with somebody, it's a total different outlook, because look at it this way. Charles Trippy is 29 years old, and ALLI is 24. Age has a big play in who you date and who you don't date. And dating someone like Charles Trippy is a hard thing to do. You guys might think, why would it be a hard thing to date Charles Trippy? Well, you got to look at it at this way, guys. Charles Trippy is part of the rock band We the Kings. And who are We the Kings? A band who tours and tours and tours their ass off. And when you look at bands like Charles Trippy, he's always on the open road, always touring and touring and touring. So when Charles Trippy's not around, ALLI's left alone by herself. And I've been watching CTFXC since probably 2011, and I only got into CTFXC because of the NDFX. You guys should check him out. I'll put a link in the description box. You guys should check him out. But he has a point that not everybody is compatible. It says they did 5 years consecutively of YouTube. Before they were on YouTube, they met off of MySpace, because they said this plenty of times in their vlogs, in their earlier vlogs. They met on MySpace.com when she was like 16 or 17 and Charles was like 18. Or I mean, Charles was like 21 or something at the time. So there's a big age difference. And age can have a role. You could think you're compatible. And they did have a video where they did get married. Their wedding video was shot very high quality, very well made. Their proposal video over in Italy, I think it was, you can just tell by watching that these two people were madly in love. There's a difference between being madly in love and somewhat in love. And I've always found it weird that some people get married and it screws up the relationship. And then when they're not married, they're not screwed up. So it doesn't make sense sometimes. Like, let's say I get married and I've been with my girlfriend for 10 years. Then instantly, a month later, we break up. What was the point of us breaking up? And when you are with somebody for years at a time, you can fight about the stupidest thing. Like, let's say you drank milk and you left a little bit in the milk carton, like not even enough for a cup. Your girlfriend can come in there, dude, why don't you fucking just drink the milk and stop putting a little bit of it back? It could happen. And it just doesn't make sense that they're breaking up. To me, I understand, because I've gone through breakups. And breaking up with a significant other that you truly love and care about really sucks. And in the end of the day, guys, when you're kind of at that point where you argue all the time, there's no going back, because every relationship I've ever been in, and once you have like 2 or 3 weeks of just continuously arguing, like you call your girlfriend or you hang out and they're always like, dude, stop calling me, or dude, you're annoying. That's when you know the relationship is falling apart and there's really no avenue to fix it. You could go out and get couples therapy, which does help, because I know people personally who has got couples therapy. Maybe it's the point that they need a break, and they need a break, just separate, and after that they need to come back and talk and see what happens. Maybe her living at her parents' house for a while, maybe her actually going out and seeing other people, because she's only 24 years old. I can see Charles Trippi at 29, because I'm a 29-year-old dude, and I can see at his age he wants to settle down, focus on his career, which is being a bass player for We the Kings, and he wants to make his business, which is CTFXC, grow and succeed. And Allie is still at that age of, I want to party, because when I was 24 years old, 25, I was in college and I was partying. Maybe she wants to do something outside of YouTube, and I think it all boils down to is Charles Trippi's always traveling way too much. You watch any band DVD, especially watch the Disturbed's very first DVD, they actually talk about, the bass player talks, Dan Dunnigan, I think it is, the lead guitar player, talks about it, that it's hard to have a relationship and girlfriends and be on the open road because you're never around to see your wife or your girlfriend. And that's why my brother has told me multiple times that people in the military he knows that go over to Iraq or these other countries for months at a time, they come back and their wife or their girlfriends are no longer around. And it's because they can't handle being away from each other. And I'll say this, YouTube is a great avenue to meet people and to interact. And you know how Charles Trippi, right? Him and his wife have the CTFXC. My YouTube career has always been one-man show. Me doing my guitar lessons, me doing my vlogs. Once in a while I'll have like my brother, my family, or friends in the vlog. And it seems like when I have my brother and he'll talk about like the military ships or military or guns, that when I go gun shooting, those vlogs seem to get more traction, or more people just enjoy them more because it's them. Just like when I do the Raw Talk podcast with Nick, I think we get more attraction because it's both of us. And when I did a video with Lambrani, I think it gets more attraction because people see her in the video and it's more than just myself. And Charles Trippi has gone in the Guinness World Record for uploading the most successful videos of all time on YouTube. So I'll say this, if he continuously vlogs on his channel, it will be a different aspect of vlogging. Because if you go back to the very first couple of CTFXC videos, it was strictly just Charles Trippi. And it would just be like having Shay Carl in the vlog and not his wife or his kids. It's gonna detract a lot of viewers because it's like a TV show, like Nick was saying. Let's say you have NCIS, which is a very popular show, and then you took Gibbs out, which is the main character, like the boss of the whole situation. If you took him out and basically didn't have him on the show anymore, the views are going to drop. It would just be like having the Denver Broncos without Peyton Manning, or a football team without a quarterback. The team would fall apart because the quarterback is what holds it all together. And I know a lot of YouTubers support what the CTFX has done. I watched and I was surprised because just a few videos before that, they were talking about, they looked happy in their videos, but it was kind of weird that they got a new dog, and it's Allie's dog basically. So now Allie has her dog, Chico, and it's kind of mind blowing that Charles Trippy has gone through so much in his life with the seizures. He's had a seizure before he played his last concert. He has minor seizures. He's had brain surgery at the age of 29. This dude has gone through a lot in his life. He's gone through a lot more than I probably ever will in my life, with brain problems, seizures. And I'll say this, a lot of the comments on the YouTube on their breakup video is basically saying Alli's a bitch. Alli's fucked up for leaving Charles Trippy in the state of that he's in. And they say basically Charles Trippy is supposed to be there through thick and thin. Charles Trippy has got 1.4 million channel subscribers and over 400,000 or 400 million channel views. It says they have combined 523 million channel views, and that is ridiculous. But like one of these guys writes, says, "I'm a viewer and I'm so sad, but I will continue to support both. I never thought I would ever be this upset about someone I have never met in my personal life, but it is like a family. Everyone supports each other for the most part. I really hope they can remain friends. It does happen, and hope maybe in time apart it will." Because it is true, you can break up with somebody and still be friends. I'm friends with some of my exes. We're technically better friends than we ever were as a couple. And here's another comment I'll read before I end the podcast. And they write, "When they got married, they agreed for better or worse, and sickness and health. I think they both gave up too early. If they care for each other a lot, like Charles said, then they should be trying to seek counseling, which counseling will maybe help, it maybe won't." But I even commented on the video saying, maybe try couples counseling. It could help. I'm not saying it will. I didn't want to come off as a prick saying this is what they should do. I was just saying that's what I think would possibly help. It helped out some people that I know personally, and it brought them closer together because of stuff. They could be off camera. They could be knuckling it up like, fuck you, Trippy. Fuck you, Charles. It could come down to the money. It could all come down to he travels too much. And I'll read the rest of the comments. It says, it says, where did it go? Okay, it says they could seek counseling or something. There are ups and downs in every relationship, and I think they still have a chance. It broke my heart that it's how it's going. At first, I thought it was a joke because they seemed so happy in their videos, which I agreed they did. Then today's new vlog, Charles is not wearing his wedding ring, and the Shaytards talked about it in their new vlog because Charles did not know what to do. I feel Charles is more hurt than ALLI. That's not possible. It works both ways, but I was just reading a comment on this article I was reading. And for the people who say they understand what's going on, put it this way, most of the CTFXC viewers, I think, are little kids who might never know what's going on with relationships. But with that being said, guys, I will definitely talk to you next time. But it is a hard part when you start arguing all the time. That's when your relationship does fail. Because I've had relationships fail. It's basically like you put all your time and effort into dating someone, and they kick you in the heart and tear you apart. Will you move on and find somebody else? Yeah, you will find somebody more compatible. Maybe you won't. But with that being said, guys, let Charles Trippy and ALLI figure this out for themselves. They gave us something that most people never do, which is 5 years of their life. They filmed stuff that, honestly, I never thought you would ever see. The brain surgery. They filmed him on tour. He's filmed when he's had brain problems. This dude has gave us a lot. And it could be the stress of filming so much or him being on tour all the time. But that's just my little opinion on Charles Trippy and ALLI. I'll see you guys soon. Don't call ALLI a bitch, because personally, you guys don't know who she is in real life, and you don't know if it's Charles being too aggressive and it's his problem. But they say they're arguing all the time, and once you argue enough, you fuck up your relationship. I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.